Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. It's 4:31 p.m. on Monday, December 19th. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I guess I will do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Okay, I'll do it. Chair John Wizard, absent. Vice Chair Hans Buder.
Yep, present.
Okay, Commissioner Kevin Healy,
Present.
Commissioner Kathleen, I'm not gonna mess up your last name, you have to tell me.
I'm present. Okay.
Okay,
I'm interested in this. What's your favorite pronunciation, Kathleen?
At the Ballesteros.
what?
You cut out just like.
Ballesteros.
Oh,
Ah,
okay. All right, Commissioner Viviana Gamma,
Present.
okay. Commissioner Francine Goodwin,
Present.
okay.
Okay. Item number 3. Do we have any comments from the public that are unrelated to other agendized items? Anybody on the line?
No.
Moving on to item 4, the consent agenda. Does anybody have a motion? We have 2 items, resolution 3079 relating to AB 361, allowing us to continue remote meetings. And then the approval of the minutes from the meeting held on October 24th.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Great. The motion is been properly made and seconded. Can we have a roll call, please, Ms. Boykin?
Okay. Vice Chair Hans Buder,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Healy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kathleen Ballesteros,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Viviana Gamma, Commissioner Viviana Gamma,
I think she disconnected. I don't see her phone on
oh,
the line.
okay. Commissioner Francine Goodwin,
Yes.
Okay. The motion is passed. Moving on to item 5, reports of committees. Let's start with the Personnel Committee.
Okay. So we did meet and everything is on the agenda.
Okay. And the Finance and Development Committee, I think Commissioner Gama is maybe reconnecting. Did she just dial back in?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I just dialed back in. Sorry, I hung up by accident.
Do you have a quick, Viviana, do you have a quick rundown of the Finance and Development Committee meeting?
Everything is on the agenda.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add, because I was in that meeting too, is we have, we're finishing these file audits for some of the RAD properties. So I think we're basically down to the last 1 or 2. But it came to our attention that we still need to do the actual audits and that may stretch a little bit. And so I just, again, like we said in the committee, just reiterating, I think that's a key priority. Anyway, that's all from that one. How about Monterey County Housing Inc., Michi, and Affordable Acquisitions? Is there anybody other than Chair Wizard who is privy to the content of that meeting?
Both Zulika and I attended the meeting, and I'd be happy to provide a brief update if you want.
Perfect.
So the Michi changed their bylaws, eliminating the 2 representatives from HACM. And they are moving forward with trying to effectuate a separation from HACM. They also appointed a new commissioner, and that's the short version of what took place at a very long meeting.
Any questions on item 5 relating to the reports of the committee?
Vice Chair Buter, can I just, because you know, Zalika might not know everything, but
Yeah.
the history before, you know, with Michi, we were always, it was a great relationship. We were always working together. And then a couple of months ago, it just went a different route. So in order to, you know, that we continue to maintain whatever took place, I think moving forward, you know, HACM, I know that HACM is always available, you know, for the residents that are under Michi, you know, to serve them. And because it's always in the best interest of the residents and the clients, you know, even if they're not part of HACM or, you know, even if there are other agencies involved, we always got to consider there are a lot of people that still need housing. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Any other comments on the reports of committees? Okay. Moving on to item 6, closed session. We're going to meet in closed session relating to government code section 54956.9 subsection D part 2, significant exposure to litigation. So I guess, Gabby, at this point, if we could
All right, folks are returning now. All right, everyone is back.
Okay.
all right, so we are returning from executive session. No definitive action was taken. We are moving to item 7, report of the secretary.
Okay, let's see. All right, I prepared a secretary report. It's actually pretty brief. I just wanted to kind of let you know some of the things that I've been doing the last 2 weeks. Mostly, I have been talking with the Coalition of Homeless Service Providers. I attended the new member orientation, attended a meeting they had, and it was also time to submit the board application. So I submitted the board application for that. Then I met with the HUD field office for San Francisco to talk to them about, you know, the status of the housing authority, introduce myself, just see what their expectations were and kind of what their feelings was about the housing authority at this time. It was a positive meeting. So they're really on board to assist us in getting where we need to be and trying to give us time to do it. So I thought that was really good. And then we had a meeting also about some PBV, technical assistance training. that's going to kick off shortly. It was started because they said they had a finding or something happened, but overall it's going to be really positive for the staff, and then it'll help with future development and just handling that better in the Section 8 department. So I'm excited about that. I've had a couple of staff meetings. I went to a couple of department head meetings, just trying to get a feeling of all the staff people, see what's going on, looking at some of the operations. But the majority of my time, I actually been with finance to try to check on these audits and where we are at and what was the best thing to do for them. So one thing that I did, I got Brian Alton with BDO. He's going to help bring the VMS current. That's a Section 8 tool, and he's going to train them how to do that. So that's going to be really helpful, because this will determine the budget authority for next year for the Section 8 program. And so having him to, do that and train them, it'll probably be maybe a 3-4 month process. But it's going to be good for the staff. They're excited about it. They want to learn. They're sending him everything that he needs. So I think that's going to be really positive. And then the other thing is just talking to Novogradic about these audits. The 2020 will not be completed at the end of this year. They just really started it. I talked to Jason, who's over the audits for 20 and 2021. And he said that his projected timeline for both of them to be completed would probably be the beginning of April, because of all the documents that's got to be turned in and where they're at now with getting those things done. 2020, he said he feel like we could have it completed by the end of January. And then it would take February and March to probably do the 2021. But I also have Nick with BDO working with them to try to see if there's some ways to expedite those audits getting completed. And Kim and her team have been really helpful with that. So I don't have a definitive timeline, but I did want to let you know that, he's saying probably the beginning of April before that's completed. And other than that, like I say, just working with Tori and looking at his hot list and really just getting settled in and kind of seeing what needs to be done and getting some direction. Because another thing that's on my list too, we have Yardi, but they're not fully utilizing it the way that they could to help them to do their work better. So I have a meeting with the Yardi rep in January, and we're going to start putting some things in place to make Yardi work for them, to get some of these manual processes out the way. And so that way, when we start having audits in the future and things like that, it won't take as long to have them completed. And so if anybody got any questions or anything, but that's basically kind of what I've been doing, because I really wanted to see how they were working and where, potential problems may lie to try to get some resolution, but especially in the finance department, because the audit's being behind.
Any questions for Zalika about the report? Okay, I would just say, Zalika, if there's anything the board can do, if you need any help in between meetings, always feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 8, new business, resolution 3080. Adding a new local preference to the administrative plan.
So I think that's the wrong title. It's the title is the ratification of changes to chapter 20 of the admin plan. And I discussed this with the committee, and prior to that I had discussed it with Chair Wizard. And so board, this is a ratification. I already made these changes under the direction of Chair Wizard. And we had a situation where a homeless family with a 3-bedroom house needed a security deposit that was over $4,000. And in our admin plan, we had restrictive language that said there was a $3,500 cap of assistance for any one household. And that was not required by HUD. So the EHV program is providing up to $3,500 per household in supportive services, and that can cover security deposits. It's also paying for our housing navigator that we have on staff. And we had put into the admin plan some time ago when the EHV program started a $3,500 cap for any single household. And I needed to remove that cap so that we could go ahead and pay the security deposit for this family so that they could move in. The landlord was willing, but they just didn't have any more money to be able to pay for the security deposit. So we made two changes to Chapter 20, and Chapter 20 is what covers the EHV program. One is we changed that arbitrary $3,500 cap for any one household. And the second is we changed the landlord incentive fee from $500 to $1,500. And both Marie and I had already mentioned that to the board that we had wanted to do that. At the time, I hadn't realized that it was actually in the admin plan. It's not required to be in the admin plan, but it was there. So we had to change that. So those are the two changes that I made to the admin plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hey, Tori, this is Kevin. Just for my own gratification, I guess, this change won't get us jammed up with that at all relative to changing the admin plan and ratifying the change.
No, it won't. EHV had special provisions that allowed for housing authorities to implement changes to the EHV program without board approval. But I felt that it made sense to still have board ratification.
Thank you. I move approval of the ratification.
I second that. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Okay. Since Chair John Wizard is not here, do I still need to call him or just go to the next person?
Who's the resident parliamentarian?
So I normally would call every name,
Okay.
even if they weren't here.
Okay. Chair John Wizard, absent. Vice Chair Hans Buder,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Healy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kathleen Ballesteros,
Yes.
Commissioner Viviana Gamma,
Yes.
Commissioner Francine Goodwin.
Yes.
All right. The motion passes, the ratification passes. We're going to move to item 9, which is information. 9A is the Human Resources Report.
Good evening, everyone. No recent changes. We did have a positive case of COVID earlier this month in December. Kind of sent out the email to the staff to have everyone retested. We implemented also the temporary mask mandate until the 14th, which is about 10 days after the first initial positive case came out. Everyone came out negative, so our focus was to kind of keep everyone safe, and so far everyone has been safe this far. Right now we're going into the holiday break and kind of closing this year good on the HR side. As far as staffing goes, I am getting with Zulika as far as getting the director's position filled up. We're focusing on the director of finance as a primary focus first to fill, and then obviously kind of getting the other ones filled up as well. But other than that, though, that is all for the HR report.
Okay, any questions about the HR report from commissioners? Okay, Zulika, I just had a a quick question, just wondering if you could provide some color on that, having, connected with Tori. We've had a couple of longstanding, new hire needs out there. I'm just kind of curious what your take or plan on those is.
I did talk to Tori about some of the people that he's spoken with before about the finance director position. He connected me with them, and I actually have had a phone conversation with one. I'm awaiting a response from the other. And so at the beginning of the new year, the one that did respond, we will have another conversation and a meeting. And at that point, then decide if we need to move forward with the actual interview. We are focused, well, I am focusing with James on the finance director position, because I feel like that's the most critical position that's needed at this point. We have a good finance team that are really willing to work, and they need some strong leadership to have the experience to guide them. And once we get that in place, I think the things that we have an issue with right now, we won't have in the future.
Yeah.
And that was also something that was on HUD list for us to have a permanent finance director.
Yeah. Now, aside from the applicants you mentioned, we also had a search firm at one point, and maybe, I guess it's a question for you, Zulik, but maybe also for Tori. Where do we stand there? Have we kind of terminated that contract, or?
Only ones that I saw were the ones that James had that have applied to HACM directly. I'm not familiar with a contract with anyone on the outside. Tori will have to speak to that.
Yeah, so we still have a contract with Stu. And I will, yeah, and for the finance director, and we can talk, I'll talk with Zulika about whether or not it makes sense to formally sever that or engage him. But it was just kind of sitting out there. He hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I'd love to just see is just kind of what the plan is, because it's a challenging position to fill. So I think we need to maybe get more aggressive with it or think imaginatively about it. It'll help that we now have a permanent ED, but anyway, it's great that it's an area of focus for you.
Well, yeah, we're really working on it. And so I just need to check where all we have the ad listed. Like, is it on FADA, NARO, all of those types of things? And then me and James can work together to try to get some candidates and try to move forward on this as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's see. The next item is item 9B, which is the finance report.
Sorry. Hi. Nothing really new except for the audit. We had started the open items this last month for the 2020 audit, and we're hoping to have everything. We'll have the majority of it by this Wednesday before we go on break, but there'll still will be some items that we'll need to come up with. Hopefully when we get back right after Christmas, we'll get those completed. And also there's been a change in staffing. Our accounting supervisor left the agency, and she was training the payroll person. And so the payroll entry has just been started, and we have, she's already progressed. So we should have everything caught up by the end of the year.
Questions about the finance report? Okay, let's move on to item 9C, which is the development and property management report.
Hi, everybody. The only thing I'd like to add, or just a reminder, that we're working on our grand opening for Parkside. That's coming up on January 19th. We've got all of our speakers confirmed. So we'll have equity and lender partners attending that event. Lease up is going really great. Property management has done a great job leasing. They've got 53 units leased up, and they've got a couple of move-ins scheduled for this week, and they've got an orientation taking place at the end of the month. So things are moving along. I've reported out to our investor that by, the first quarter of next year will be fully leased. So we can move forward with conversion to perm and everything that involves for my team. The job at Tynan, they've got one balcony left. They're working on that now. That should be complete by Wednesday. And then the only other item left is some handrail repair that we asked them to fix on building A, that they're now looking for a local sub here in the county to do it. Their sub from the Bay Area has been unable to come down and get that work started. Other than that, that's it. I mentioned at committee meeting that our commercial tenant for the bakery has extended their lease. They've got new cooks and they've got a new manager. And so I talked with Tori and we went ahead and did an amendment to their lease for 6 months. They seem to have a lot more foot traffic lately. So hopefully they'll, as it gets closer to the 6-month mark, I'll let everyone know what the status is with them. And I've also got a local barber shop that's looking to move location. So I may have the little small 900 square foot space that we have available that could potentially be leased up early next year. And other than that, we're working with Kim's team also on audits. I think we've all got a little piece of audits that we're working with and pushing that along. HDC 2021 should be completed by the end of this year. So at least I can, give some good news to our lender. And then lastly, Zumwalt, the last of the repairs pending from our lawsuit, they came back today. They've got just one more unit at Haciendas 3 and another item out at Castroville, and they should be done by Wednesday also.
Okay. Any questions about the development and property management report? Or maybe, do we need Jose to speak to the property management side?
Yeah, I just want to add, we were able to complete the rent reconciliation for 802 and 803. They should be on the agenda for the HDC meeting for approval. That was a big undertaking and a lot of work from everybody. Carolina's team was able to help. Kim's team and my staff did an amazing job. And I just want to thank everyone that participated in that project. And hopefully we can turn the page and get that completed. I've also spoken with Zulika on some ideas that I have for the department. And I've sent her some information that she requested today. We want to look at doing a rent studies for the RAD properties because our contract rents are too low and we need to increase them higher than the OCAF, normal OCAF that we do annually. Hopefully we can get more HAP and increase those rents because that will allow us to better our occupancy, usage rate of the PVRA vouchers that we have available. That's one project that we're working on. Also presented a proposal for Yardi to increase to go into screening, which will allow us to do a better eligibility process. And Sulika already mentioned she's in contact with the rep. So that's going to be great for us. We have also been scheduled for MOR for Portola Vista, which is going to be happening the second week of January. And we're getting ready for that audit. Besides that, everything else is on the report. We've made a lot of progress and we're moving forward in a positive direction. So thank you, unless anybody else has questions.
Okay, great. Any questions on either the development or property management side? Okay, moving on to item 9D, the housing programs report. Maria.
Good evening, commissioners. Pretty much I have everything on the report, unless the commissioners have any questions, but I do just want to let the board know that things in our department. We're moving along with the audit. We pretty much completed everything but was requested, but now we got a second round of items that the auditors are wanting from the department. So we're trying to get everything done as before the end of this month. But that's pretty much what we're working on. And I know the Section 8 staff is also working on files, getting families ready for, they're doing one-to-one briefings, trying to get as many files ready so we could put more families out in the street with a housing choice voucher. We continue to be interviewing for the EHV, and when the families do come in, we're pretty much getting all of them come in. It's a good turnout for the EHV, and having the navigator, you know, she is doing a remarkable job of finding units for our EHV families. But that's pretty much everything for the HCC department, unless the commissioners have any questions.
And if I can just add one thing. So we ran the numbers and the forecast is that there will not be a recapture of any Section 8 funds this year, which is great news. And that's really because the board took action and then the Housing Authority Section 8 department was able to execute on the strategy. So we were able to get that money spent so that we don't have to send any back to Washington.
That's great. Questions on the housing programs report? I just had a quick question, you know, with someone's gonna have to remind me when they go into effect for renewals versus newly issued vouchers, but on the new payment standards, what is the early intel that we're seeing about you know, changes in behavior or changes in success rate? You know, just curious.
So we're seeing it on the EHV, that we've had more success on the EHV. The main program, there's a little bit of a lag, and I think that we'll start to see that soon. But I think anecdotally, people are excited about the higher payment standards. Maria, feel free to add or correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. We are finding a lot landlords, and we also have new landlords that have approached me, wanted to see how the program works. So hopefully we do get new landlords, and plus we did let them know about the incentives. So they're renting more to the EHV families. And, you know, I know Tori and I have talked. We also need another housing navigator just to help us for the other programs, you know, for the housing choice voucher, family unification, everything under that umbrella. We do need another navigator to be able to assist them.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm sorry, Hans.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
did the payment standards take effect?
October?
October?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a difference with like newly issued vouchers versus renewals? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, so the newly issued folks in October were made aware that their vouchers would be worth more.
Okay, so whether you're getting a newly issued voucher or a renewal, like a relocation voucher or something, or renewal, you are now using those new vouchers, those new payment standards.
Correct.
Got it.
And so the new people found out because you told them in the briefing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we hand out the new payment standard in their briefing packets.
Okay.
This is probably a longer conversation, Zulika. Maybe it's something you can put on the medium-term plan because you have a pretty full short-term inbox. But, you know, I do some work with housing authorities in Texas and have been working with a couple new housing authorities as we're functionally a landlord. I mean, we work with other housing authorities, but with other landlords and are kind of an advocate. But the process of setting oneself up as a landlord for the first time, even when you're familiar with the HCV program, can be pretty opaque. And so I'm just curious, it might be worth us just looking into our process, just making sure it's landlord friendly to somebody who's not familiar with the program. You know, I think there's a lot of work that can be done. You know, there's even a housing authority that I work with that has taken a lot of those forms and put them online, which makes it just a lot easier. So I would encourage us to continue to innovate to try to make it a more streamlined experience for, you know, potential landlords, because the default that I've seen out there is kind of a headache. So.
Well, Hans, you know, me and you is always on the same page, because that's one of the reasons that I'm talking to Yardi to try to get Rent Cafe up and running, because then you'll have a landlord portal and they can go on there, like the new payment standards. Soon as they log on, it'll be an announcement right there telling them that we got these new payment standards. It's a lot better. It's more efficient for the tenant and the landlord. And Maria and them are already using certain parts of Yardi. So I think it'll be just a small implementation if we really want to go in that direction. And then, of course, we would do property management too, but it would address the issue that you are speaking of right now.
Yeah, I'm always just shocked. You know, even a simple cover letter with like a clear checklist of, hey, here are the documents you need to give me, as opposed to me having to wade through a 60-page, you know, packet and guess at what you're asking for. So, so anyway, that's great. Okay, that's item 9D, housing programs report. If there's no other questions, I think we're going to move on to commissioner comments. Let's start with Commissioner Goodwin.
I knew you were going to do that. Anyway, just wanted to thank everybody for a very productive meeting, and it's nice to have our new executive director on board, and sounds like there's going to be some positive directions here on out, and I just wanted to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Gama.
I would like to thank all the staff for everything that they do, and then happy holidays to everyone.
Okay, Commissioner Ballesteros.
First, I just want to say it was a pleasure to meet Zalika in person. I got to meet with her for, I think it was a quick 15 minutes. And thank you, Zalika, for making time for me. And, you know, I just want to say thank you for addressing the position of the finance director, because I remember sharing that with you, that it was very critical, that position, and trying to get all these audits and everything done, because the staff that has been holding it up has been trying their best and, you know, accomplishing that. Also a great job on getting Brian Elton with BDO to help out, and also connecting with Yardi. I want to just say thank you to all the staff for all the information provided. Gabriela, thank you. And may everybody have a safe holiday. Be careful out there. A lot of people in a rush. And I had a near accident yesterday because the person didn't look to the left and almost hit me. So please be careful. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Healy.
I don't know that I would add much to the comments that have been previously expressed. Definitely thank you to the senior staff and the directors, and Zulika and Tori. I definitely get the sense that we're functioning as an agency as a more cohesive unit than has been my experience in the past. And I'm really excited to see that. I think it's the direction that we all have wanted to go for a long time. So I'm excited to see more. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone.
Yeah, and I would echo those comments. You know, I did want to say welcome to Zulika. I think I neglected to do that at the beginning, so welcome. I think this was your first full board meeting. And then, you know, I think we're excited to work with you. And then I also wanted to, you know, thank Tori. I mean, this is, you know, the kind of the handover. And what was supposed to be a very, we thought would be somewhat short-term, you know, interim executive director role, definitely, you know, you hung with us and kept making that commute from Houston, which I know was difficult for you and your family. And like I've said before, I think everything from helping us find Zulika, helping us set us up with the, the search firms, and then, in addition to just keeping the lights on, actually making forward progress on a lot of these things that we've been working on, like the payment standards. I think there's huge value add where, not to put it in a crass way, but I think you paid for your own salary many, many times over with some of those things. So thank you from the Housing Authority, and we would love to continue to have your support on certain items going forward if that's something that Zulika thinks could be helpful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we will adjourn the meeting.
Okay, to call the meeting to order at 5:48 p.m. December 19th, 2022. We don't need to do the Pledge of Allegiance again, correct? Okay.
Right.
Okay, roll call.
Chair Kevin Healy,
Present.
Vice Chair Francine Goodwin,
Present.
Director Kathleen Ballesteros,
Present.
Director Hans Buder,
Present.
Director Viviana Gamma,
Present.
Director John Wizard, absent. And that's the end of the roll call.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is comments from the public. Are there any, Gabriella?
There's not.
Thank you. Okay, number 4, item 4 is consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered routine and therefore do not require separate discussion. However, discussion is necessary, or if a member of the public wishes to comment on any item, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Questions and clarification may be made by directors without removal of the consent agenda. The consent agenda is adopted in one motion. Okay, the minutes of the HDC board meeting held on November 28, 2022, and the memorandum resolution MDC -22 AB 361.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
And I second.
Okay, we have it approved. Consent agenda. Okay, noted. Okay, new business resolution MDC.
I think we just need to do a quick roll call on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Chair Kevin Healy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Francine Goodwin,
Yes.
Director Kathleen Ballesteros,
Yes.
Director Hans Buder,
Yes.
Director Viviana Gamma,
Yes.
Director John Wizard, absent.
Okay, now I can go on to item number 5, new business. Resolution MDC -2020 approval of write-offs for Salinas Family RAD LP and other, and resolution MDC 221 approval of write-offs for East Salinas Family RAD LP.
Yeah, so directors, this could be considered as a group, or we can consider them individually. I'll give the same spiel for both. This is the same write-off process that we have done for all of these other RAD write-offs. These are the last 2. And so once we've done these 2 write-offs, our books will be current with current tenant balances. And the nightmare of the conversion from 2016 to 2019 will be over. And this is for The MDC 220 is for the Salinas family. And the 221 is for East Salinas family RAD. And these are two of our larger RAD projects. And the write-offs are also larger, over 110,000 and over 85,000. But they have been gone through both by the management team and the finance team, line by line, to make sure that we get all of the details correct. And it's been checked and double checked. And I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
Are these write-offs due to different various situations, Tori?
Yeah, they are due to various circumstances. The bulk of the write-offs are the adjustments. And if you blow up the pages, you can see the adjustments tend to be larger than the actual write-offs. The write-offs are usually due to somebody vacating the apartment with a balance. And sometimes there are also legal fees or damage fees included in that.
Okay, thank you.
I move approval of both resolution MDC 220 and resolution MDC 221.
I second.
Roll call.
Okay. Chair Kevin Healy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Francine Goodwin,
Yes.
Director Kathleen Ballesteros,
Yes.
Director Hans Buder,
Yes.
Director Viviana Gamma,
Yes.
and Director John Wizard, who is absent. Okay.
Item number 6, development of property management report. Carolina and Jose.
It's the same report we gave at the Housing Authority meeting, unless anyone has any additional questions.
Jose.
No, I mean, it's the same report that we presented in the previous meeting.
Thank you.
So, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Okay. Okay. We're not going into closed session again, are we?
We do not need item 7
Okay, because that was the same discussion, correct?
in matter. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay, so we are up to item 8, director's comments. Let's see. Kathleen, would you like to go first?
Just want to say thank you to all the staff, HDC, Carolina, Nora, and Jessica and everybody else. Have a happy holidays with your family and enjoy some time off. Thank you.
Hans?
Not too much to add. Happy holidays. Thanks everyone for staying late tonight.
Okay, Director Healy?
I would say happy holidays and repeat my comments from the previous meeting. Thanks to everyone for all of their hard work. And I would also take an opportunity to plug the Parkside grand opening on January 19th. We're all looking forward on the HDC team to seeing you all there. Happy holidays.
Thank you. And Director Gama?
Just like I said earlier, thank you everybody for your hard work and happy holidays.
And I would like to echo everybody's comments and thank everybody. It was both meetings were very productive and positive, and I look forward to a great 2023 with everybody. And have a safe and happy holiday. And we'll see you next year.
Thank you, Francine.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Take care.
Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.